Leading things off, our first guest is the author of a cardiac arrest book. Joins us for a discussion on the book and police stops, as well as tips on what you can do. Get the knowledge of what to do, what to say, and all that other stuff that follows if you have an encounter. Now we welcome Royce. Can I call you attorney, Royce? Royce?
No, Royce Russell.
Royce Russell's in the house. Give him a big round of applause, everybody. But you are an attorney.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Thank you for having me.
So how did you come up with taking action on things like this?
Well, I mean, it starts from the very young age of growing up in the Bronx, growing up in St. Mary's Projects, growing up in New York City housing.
I know exactly where you are.
That's right. Observing, watching, making your way to become an attorney, and then practicing in the area of civil rights, and then practicing in the area of criminal defense. And so doing that type of work, you come to see the pitfalls, and you come to see oftentimes our people are reactive instead of proactive in reference to unlawful police stops, unlawful search, and excessive force.
So you have to get the knowledge of what to say, what to do, how to be.
To a certain degree. I mean, the first step is to understand, one, you cannot control when it's going to happen. You need to understand that. That is a perfect way to manage your expectations. And then number two is to have a sense that there isn't one bright, right rule of thumb. It's a variety of tactics and information that you should give depending upon who's approaching you.
And you know, when that approach happens, you feel violated and you feel like, wow, I didn't,
Oftentimes you feel like the title of the book, cardiac arrest.
Cardiac arrest.
Your heart stops, your hands get sweaty, or it starts to beat very, very, very fast, and you're starting to wonder and have flashbacks from your formative years and your adult years, and you want to know, hey, how is this all going to end? Because you're not sure.
You're not sure.
And that's important because it has a domino effect within our criminal justice system. If people of color have a bad encounter, an unfortunate encounter with police officers, then they're unlikely to be jurors. And then, therefore, the defendant doesn't have a jury of his peers. And so the domino effect is forever lasting.
And we all have our stories.
Yes, we do.
I'm sure what made you want to get involved in this, you probably have a story.
Have a story or two.
Or two or three.
Or three or four. That's right. And it starts out very simplistic. You can have gentlemen standing in front of the building, waiting for their friend to come downstairs, and the police officer sees them standing there. And because there are relationships between the police department and New York City housing, they may think that you're loitering. They may think that you're trespassing. And the way that communication moves forward will determine whether that person is arrested or not. And usually is not articulated in the way that we see the motto of the New York City Police Department: professionalism, courtesy, and respect. It's not given that way.
Although there are a lot of good guys and girls in the police department.
Oh, without a question, without a question. This guide is to help us protect us. It is not anti-police. It is a guide for us to protect us because civics courses are not being taught in schools anymore. Oftentimes, adults, male or female, do not have the talk to their children as to what they may encounter. And you need to have that.
All right, so what's the first tip? What do you do?
Well, the first...
I'm driving along maybe, and I get pulled over. I don't know what I did, but I'm being pulled over.
Well, the first thing is to follow our acronym, Think Calm. And that stands for C, stay composed. So, you see the police car behind you, you know you're going to be stopped. Don't let your emotions get the best of you. Stay composed. And the reason why you need to stay composed because the next acronym, A, next letter, A, be aware. You want to be aware. You want to know that officer's name. You want to know that officer's shield. You want to know the license plates of the car. So if your emotions gets the best of you, then you're not aware. And you want to be aware. You want to listen. Not listen necessarily because they're telling you to do something. Get out the car. Stand here.
Now, are you supposed to get out the car?
Well, you're not supposed to get out the car voluntarily. Until they order you or ask you to get out of the car, then that's when you do that. And that's some of the things that we talk about in Chapter 1 or Chapter 4 that just don't voluntarily get out the car.
So it's a matter of, can you please get out of the car?
Say, we should be so fortunate if the words please are used when they ask you to get out of the car. But it's our community, we have to understand that there are certain police protocols. So a police officer, when he stops you, he may have his hand on his gun as he approaches your car, especially a state trooper, which is a single person stopping a car. that may not have anything to do with you, and I underscore the word may not.
Yeah.
It is
That's part
police
of that
protocol.
training, yeah.
Right.
So now you're
need,
back here like
right.
this.
Yes, looking behind you. And so you need to listen, not only listen to what they're saying, but listen to what they're saying about you. Listen if somebody says, hey, Police Officer Robinson or Partner Robinson, can you go and check his driver's license? So now you have that name. Listen to why they say they're stopping you. And if it's a fabrication, then you know how to move forward. If it's placed in some type of reality, you know that they have the wrong person. And to make a call, in your scenario where you said the police car is behind you, you don't wait till the police car and the officer gets to your window to make the call. You make the call beforehand.
Yeah.
And you tell that person on the other end, I want you to be an active listener. Don't say anything. Just listen to what's going on. Because oftentimes it's just my word against the police officer's word, and you need that third-party witness.
You know, while you're talking, I'm thinking of a number of stories, and I'm thinking of one
I'm
that
sure.
I can tell. I'll give you one.
Do share.
Well, that was a few years back. Of course, I was doing a live broadcast at Steve Harvey Morning Show. We were doing breakfast spots.
Okay.
And we were live on the radio. Everybody said, oh, they make the best coffee and the best breakfast sandwiches. We were in Harlem. About 3 or 4 blocks away, they had this big elevated
Oh, right.
police carom thing up there.
The tower.
Yeah, the tower. And, yeah, I passed it, but we were doing our broadcast, and they came from all over the place.
Surrounded you.
Yeah, they said, hey, put the phone down. I said, well, I'm doing a live broadcast on the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Put the phone down. I said, hey, Steve, they want me to put the phone down. I said, okay, we'll wrap this up. I'll call you back. And, you know, I put that down. And they said, well, I said, what's the problem? And they were all over, hundreds of them. Well, not hundreds of them, but it seemed like at the time. Cardiac arrest.
Immediately.
Cardiac arrest.
Immediately. and in your situation, you were
They
very...
said, where's your guns?
Really?
Yeah, they said, your vehicle has a bunch of guns in it. Somebody gave us a call.
Well, I will not go into whether that was fact or fiction. But what I will tell you is that you're very lucky that the communications that you had with those officers weren't taking it to a heightened level. Because usually when we ask, well, why am I being stopped? What is the problem? What did I do wrong? Those words and sentences do not come out and does not reach the police officer's ear as a question. It is reached as a challenge of authority. Why are you talking back? I'll do all the questioning. You move over here. And you have a right to ask the question. And you have a right to have an answer. It's not against the law if you're not given an answer, but if you're here to serve me and you're here to protect the community, if I ask you, why am I being stopped? You can give me that information. That will go a long way in the communications and the volunteering of information and the cooperation given that stop.
And they had to go through with it because there were a few white shirts there.
Well, yeah, at that
and there
point.
was a couple of guys that knew who I was. They said, oh, that's Dr. Rob Lee from WBLS.
And sometimes we have to recognize
But
that.
they had to go through.
Yeah, sometimes we have to recognize that there is no stop, right? That means once they put the first foot forward, they got to go all the way.
Go.
So unfortunately, you know, that is determined by a couple of factors. One, whether or not there is a de facto quota system that needs to be met. 2, whether or not that person has some personal prejudice, some personal bias. 3, whether that person is just having a bad day. Because we have to understand that police are people too. And if they have a bad day, that means you can have a bad day.
A really bad day. And the fourth thing is that it could have been associated with the place.
Oh, without a question.
Yeah.
That has
so
nothing
it's
to
who
do
you
with
hang
you.
out with too, or where you're at.
Right. And so oftentimes what we tell kids as they make their way into adulthood is that you have to be careful of who you hang out with. You have to be aware that sometimes this may not have anything to do with you.
That's right.
Anything to do with you whatsoever. If I have an argument with my significant other and then I'm here at work and I'm late for work and I have a boss or superior that is getting on my case, well, what do I do with those emotions? They don't go away, and I come in contact with you, guess who gets it? You get it. And your desire to know what is going on, your willingness to let the person know, hey, look, no, I go to Fordham Prep. I'm an A student, I'm a B student. All that is just lost in the midst of, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just do what I say. So we ask those in the community to think calm. I'm giving tools of the trade so we could be proactive. We've seen how during the winter times or during the colder months, there's a downtick in reference to unlawful stops. But as the summertime comes about and people are out and about and they're enjoying themselves, we see the uptick. And so no more marches, no more boycotts. Let's take our own situation in our hands and be proactive.
And briefly, give us a quick synopsis on what's in the book.
Well, in the books are do's and don'ts. Some of the things that you should do when you're stopped, some of the things you shouldn't do. And then we go into how you file a complaint. How do you file a complaint so you can initiate a lawsuit? How do you file a complaint when you want to initiate some internal investigation? And most of all, we want to educate and protect our people. And I have a little treat for you today. Dr. Bob Lee is our silicone wristband. And we hope that any officer that sees those wristbands on any one of our people in our community, they would know that we're fully educated as to what our rights are. And what it says think calm, stay composed, be aware, listen, and make a call.
All right, there you go. Give him a big round of applause, everybody. Royce Russell Esq, author of Cardiac Arrest, the tactical guide on how to handle unlawful police stops.
Thank you for having me.
This is cool. We need this. We need this. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Thanks for stopping by. And come back with some more tips, too, all right?
I'll be more
we
than
can bounce
happy
in
to.
and out.
Yes, that sounds good.
All right, we'll take a quick break right here, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Open next.